Alright, so we're back, of course, to talk about some Final Fantasy VII. We're talking Rebirth. So about a week ago, I put out a community post on the channel for you guys asking if there's anything to talk about, whether that's FF7, Remake, Rebirth, Ever Crisis, anything. The content's kind of dry right now. I feel like we've exhausted the Summer Game Fest trailer at this point. I don't know what else we could derive from it as of right now. I feel like we've done everything we can. Unless something else interesting comes out, some other observation somebody catches. And I had a bunch of good suggestions from you guys for videos, so we're going to probably start doing those relatively soon. We're definitely hopping into one of those today, which was discussing the next trailer for Rebirth and what that could potentially show us. We're just going to hop right into it. First and foremost, release date. I think this one's kind of a given with the next trailer, whether that's this month in August or next month, September, Tokyo Game Show, whenever the next trailer might happen. I think it's kind of a given at this point, because especially if it's like Tokyo Game Show, which is like late September, we're going to be more than 3 months since we got the Summer Game Fest trailer. It's like, I think at that point we definitely got to have a release date. But even if it comes this month, right, we're almost 2 months since the Summer Game Fest trailer. I feel like we got to get a release date with the next trailer. A more like concrete idea of when the game's coming, whether that's January, February, March, maybe later. It depends what they consider early 2024. We, of course, have that rumor of Rebirth dropping on January 31st next year, which was coming from, I believe, a reputable source on like Reset Era or something like that. A True Hero or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. It's off the top of the head. Which, for some people, that was a placeholder date, and that is, of course, a possibility, but you also got to look back to their OG FF7, which dropped on January 31st, 1997 in Japan. So I think it's entirely possible if they wanted to go for, like, that, anniversary or whatever the fuck. Like, I think I could see them wanting to do that. Now, moving beyond release date shit, actual content within the trailer, I think, for me, the kind of obvious one is Zack. I think you got to give us something for Zack. I don't know what. All the Zack shit is brand new, right? Zack was dead in OG FF7. He seems to maybe either be alive or in between death, and he's going to somehow have an impact on the story. We don't exactly know what's going on there, right? I'm of the belief he's alive, though, but regardless, Zack's going to be doing something, like, his own story, doing some shit. I don't know what. So I don't know what they show, right? The last thing we have in the timeline of shit is Zack visiting the church, Aerith not there, church full of people. Now, again, are they dead or not? Is he dead? Is Aerith dead in this alternate timeline? Who knows exactly? But I don't know what you show for Zack, because it's all fucking brand new. I can't even begin to speculate what we're going to see with Zack, other than maybe him kind of searching for Aerith, right? Looking for Aerith. Why isn't Aerith in the church? Him traveling around Midgar looking for Aerith, going to maybe Elmira's house or something. I don't know. Right? I don't know what you do with Zack, but I feel like you got to show him off. He was in the first actual trailer we ever got for Rebirth, right? They teased him, showing him carrying Cloud to Midgar. So I think it's kind of a given. You got to give us some more on Zack. I just don't know what you show exactly. The other kind of fairly obvious one to me, I would say, for the next trailer is giving us more of Calm Flashback / Nibelheim Incident, right? That's going to be a big part. It's going to be the opening of the game, more or less, or should be. So I could foresee them wanting to show more of that. They'll probably show that off with just about every goddamn trailer, because it's like one of the most, it's maybe the most important moment in all of the FF7 stories. So what do they show? I don't know. Do you show Sephiroth in the reactor freaking out? Do you show the Sephiroth standing in the fire? Do you show Sephiroth, killing Cloud's mom or something? I don't know what you show, but they're just going to show something, I'm sure, from Calm Flashback. Especially with what we've seen with the Summer Game Fest trailer, where now we're seeing like Sephiroth trying to use the Nibelheim incident to like manipulate Cloud and try to convince him that the Tifa that's with them isn't Tifa. He's trying to convince Cloud that Tifa's died back then, right? So like it seems like even more so than it ever has, the Nibelheim incident / Calm Flashback is going to be an even more important part of the story. So I definitely just foresee them kind of showing that off a lot in trailers. Now, as for other things that the trailer could show us, the first trailer with Summer Game Fest was very closed, right? It was very early game shit. Outside of the Cosmo Canyon scene, we got to see like Junon and before. It's what it appears to be with a lot of the trailer. So I think the next trailer could definitely be the one that kind of opens up and shows us a lot of the world, right? These like second full-blown trailer we got for Remake was TGS, and that did show off a lot of Midgar. We got to see a lot of other sectors. We got to see like Wall Market and Train Graveyard and a bunch of different sectors and things like that, right? And showed off like more characters like Reno and Rude and shit. So I can definitely see like the second big trailer for Rebirth really showing off a lot of the world. So you're talking like Gold Saucer potentially. Since we've seen Cosmo Canyon, you could really think anything from Cosmo Canyon and back, right? And maybe even beyond potentially. It depends on what they want to show with the trailer. We know that we're supposed to be visiting locations out of order, but they're not necessarily cutting locations. So even though we're seeing Cosmo Canyon, that doesn't necessarily mean that every location before Cosmo Canyon is going to be in the game, or at least going to be visited before we get to Cosmo Canyon. But obviously, without any sort of like confirmation yet of that, what specific locations we're going to visit out of order, it's the safest bet. So I would expect, Junon, Costa del Sol, Mount Corel, North Corel, and then like Gold Saucer, Corel Prison, Gongaga, and then like Cosmo Canyon or whatever. Like I expect that for now until we know otherwise. So realistically, we could, expect to see anything from any of those locations as of right now for the next trailer, right? So that could be Gold Saucer and Kate Sith. That could be Krill Prison, Desert Prison, Dying stuff. We could see something with Gungaga. Like, I don't know what they're going to do there because the Gungaga was optional in the OG FF7 up to a certain point. But you can just walk right past it and go to, like, Cosmo Canyon or whatever. So I think it's, we could see something from whatever. I don't know what the story element's going to be there. That's going to be really interesting, I feel like. They could do something really cool with Gungaga, I feel like. And then with like Costa del Sol, right? There's no story element stuff there either. Like you could talk to your characters around the town. You could visit Hojo on the beach, which I kind of low key want. It wouldn't make sense for us just to sit there and talk to him because we should want to kill Hojo. But I still kind of want to see him chilling on the beach with like bikini girls and like wearing his lab coat and shit. It'd be kind of funny. But yeah, like whatever they want to show off with Costa del Sol, it's technically all brand new. Whatever the story elements are going to be there, and with other locations and stuff too. But also, it's been heavily speculated for a long time that, Rebirth would go up to as far as, like, North Crater, potentially, where we release the weapons, and that's kind of where the game ends, and that's where we're going to pick up with the third game. So if we're going to North Crater with the second game, I mean, my God, that's almost the whole map, right? We visit pretty much the entire map by the time we get to the North Crater. So it's kind of, almost everything's on the table for what the next trailer could show us. If they just want to show off, like, the world, right? So I just really don't know specifics. But I do think stuff like prior to Cosmo Canyon, I think those are like the safest bets and almost guarantees. Other things that can be shown off, of course, is gameplay elements. We had, mini games in OGFF7, almost too many of those. We had, so many games in Remake, of course, so they could show off that stuff. The first one that comes to mind that I just, you have to talk about when you talk about this shit is like the CPR Dolphin minigame shit. Which some people, I'm not a defender of the CPR minigame. I don't enjoy it. It's not fun. It's kind of boring. Some people don't want to see it because they think it's weird, but it's not weird. Right? You're giving CPR to a little girl who's fucking dying. Like it's a medical thing. If you think Cloud giving CPR to a little girl is weird, it's because you're the fucking weirdo. Because he's trying to save her life. And that's not me saying that I want to have the CPR minigame in the game or the fucking dolphin jumping minigame shit either. But it's just like, I don't know why people think that's weird. It's like, I don't know. If I was watching somebody give CPR to somebody who was pulled out of the ocean, I wouldn't be like, that's fucking weird, dude. Stop kissing him. Let him die. I see other minigames. We have Gold Saucer. There could be so much potential there, man. I hope to God it's like similar to 14 a little bit where there's just a shit ton of stuff to do. Like, I hope that there's just like countless amounts of minigames because it was fun back in the day. If you go to Gold Saucer now, like in the modern day and play it, like it's not fun. They're not really that fun of minigames. They were to me as a kid. As an adult, they're not fun. They're not a good waste of time, in my opinion. So I hope that we get more of that. I hope that Fort Condor makes an appearance. We've talked about this a few times here and there on the channel. I really hope that we get more Fort Condor. I'd love to be able to, very similar to like 8 and 9's like card games, right? Where you can travel the world and like battle people, duel people, or whatever. And like with like Final Fantasy X, where you can go around the world and like recruit people for Blitzball. Like I want that feeling again. And I really hope that we can just go around and do Fort Condor. Like I would love to be able to do that still. You didn't get to play a whole lot of Fort Condor with the Yuffie DLC, but there's enough to make it fun and interesting. A lot of different like characters to use and different boards to use and stuff like that. And I feel like you could really add to that like with a full game instead of just a DLC, right? I think they could do a lot of stuff with that. I think that'd be really fun to be going around the world and collecting little figures just like you did with Yuffie with the DLC, right? But I don't know. It seems like they put a decent amount of effort into that minigame and just to like fuck it off, like forget about it forever. Like it seems weird to me, so I wouldn't be surprised if it makes an appearance again. In other gameplay elements, they could maybe show off like ways to traverse the world if there's anything beyond chocobos, right? We've seen chocobos seem to be kind of prominent a little bit with the Summer Game Fest trailer. There's different like actions you can do with the chocobos, so like maybe that's all we're going to use for a majority of the game. But if the buggy does exist, right? If we do still do the buggy thing, maybe they show that off, or other vehicles, maybe they tease other stuff like that. I don't know. And then the obvious other gameplay elements are like combat stuff. But I don't know what else you want to show. They showed off like tag team moves. With the first trailer, maybe show off other tag team moves, other combinations of characters, and if they have like the tag team like limit breaks, kind of like what the UV DLC had with the synergized limit breaks and stuff like that. If that is a thing with other characters, maybe they show that stuff off too. But obviously, it's kind of hard to speculate what new gameplay elements are going to be in terms of combat. And actually, I know we're kind of late into the video, but probably should have mentioned this sooner in the video. But characters, right? Sid and Vincent, Kate Sith, the ones we don't have yet. I don't know if we're going to get all three in the next game. We've talked about this a lot on the goddamn channel. It's possible, in my opinion, that they could save something for one of the characters for a third game, potentially something to look forward to. But also, if you wait till the third game to have either Vincent or Sid, at that point it will have been like more than a decade since Remake itself was revealed back in 2015, right? Because the next game's coming out next year, 2024. The third game's going to come out, 2026, maybe at the earliest, maybe even later than that, potentially. Who knows? It's taken like 4 years almost for the second game to come out. So it'd be a long-ass time to wait for like that third character to never show them off, them not be a part of the second game. So I think it's entirely possible that we're going to get everybody in the next game. So if they're going to be in there, I wouldn't be surprised if the second trailer shows that, right? It shows us Sid, shows us Vincent, shows us gameplay for all three potentially as well. And again, I know we've talked about this a lot, but it's like this next game's going to have our entire party. We're also going to have Red 13, who's brand new combat moves, everything. Yuffie's going to be joining the party. She already has like a little bit of history in her own shit, but she's also going to have new moves, new weapons, new weapon cores, and things to upgrade as well, along with our entire party also. And then if you're add on to that Kate, Sith, Vincent, and Sid, it seems like so much. That's why I'm like kind of on the fence about whether or not we're going to have the full party. One way they could get around that, though, is a DLC. Like having a DLC after Rebirth, kind of like what they did with Remake. I don't know what you do exactly, if you do like a standalone Vincent DLC, standalone Sid DLC, or if you do like almost like an expansion to Rebirth where like that character joins up, but it's like a continuation of the story. It's not like a standalone like Vincent in the past type thing before he's in the coffin, or a standalone Sid thing before he meets up with the party or whatever the fuck. Like, I don't know how you do it exactly, but a DLC is one way they could like bring in that next character. We don't have to wait till the third game. I know we're trying off into like a completely different topic from what the next trailer would give us, but if like one of the characters is missing from Rebirth, I would almost 100% expect the DLC is similar to Remake. Also, just kind of, I guess, like a last-minute sort of like addition to the video. Just like, it wouldn't be bad to get like a continuation of the first trailer where like we see more of like the beginning of the trailer, like what the hell's going on there with like their characters and their bodies and that stuff. I don't know if they would have showed that type of stuff off in the trailers, but Square Enix is pretty notorious for spoiling a lot of shit with their trailers, so I would expect, regardless of what trailers we get, how many we get, they're probably going to show some very important stuff, because that happens a lot. That is pretty much the video, my dudes, so of course, pass off to you guys. With the next trailer we're going to get for Rebirth, right now, Tokyo Game Show seeming like a safe bet, because I don't know what other gaming events there are right now on the horizon, like in August or anything. What do you think we're going to see? I think out of everything we've kind of talked about, a release date's kind of the most solid idea. I think that has to happen with the next trailer. I think Zack's pretty safe bet just because we didn't get any Zack with the Summer Game Fest trailer. I think that's a given. I think the Calm Flashback's a given. Kind of everything else is, they're kind of like very broad guesses of like locations and gameplay. But like, who knows what they're going to show in terms of that stuff. But I think, yeah, Zack, Calm Flashback, and a release date are almost a guarantee. Anyways, that is the video, my dudes. Subscribe to the channel if you guys don't know. Social networks in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @DaveYT. That's it.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.